Hello, everyone. I'm Allison, and welcome to my weekly Meltdowns coverage of Survivor 41, episode, I think it's 6. I'm just kind of feeling the Jeff Probst behind the scenes kind of vibes, and I thought I would take this opportunity to kind of explain real quick before we get started what happened tonight because there's a merge, non-merge. We're pushing boulders like it's fucking Indiana Jones. It's all kinds of crazy tonight. Erica's on an island. She could change the whole trajectory of the show. It's just so crazy tonight, guys. I don't know. We didn't merge. Some people got buffs. Other people didn't get buffs. What does it all mean? And why? Why is Jeff giving us behind the scenes so much? It's kind of weird. But okay, guys. So with that being said, this is just a little behind the scenes of my weekly meltdown. Excuse me. I had to take care of some. This is what happens behind the scenes of my weekly meltdown. Go to the bathroom before the show, and we go on, and I'm walking to my studio right now, and it's a little spooky looking. So I'm going to get ready, guys. Let's bring the guys in. Y'all come on in. Come on.
Well, hello everyone. How's it hanging and not? How's everyone doing this evening?
What's that? I feel like the studio smells a little funky. It smells a little fresh, like somebody was just on the toilet or something.
I had a little tinkle before the show. Stream. I'm just listening. We were getting behind. I almost had my husband hold the camera. But, I thought that was a little much. But, whatever.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. Before we get into it, I'm so happy that the three of us are back, reunited once again. All is right. Yes. All is right in the world. I feel good. I feel warm.
I only needed one from you and one from you, but here we are.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
It's so everything's so backwards. It's so funny because... hello. Let's say hello to everyone in the chat.
Yeah, we got a lot of great people in the chat tonight.
Endure my behind the scenes shenanigans. Matt Henning, Momo O. Who else is in here? Valencia, as always. Pokemon is in there. Adrian, Dolores, M. Jones. If I'm missing anyone, let me know. I got Heather Jean. That might be my sister from another mister. I'm not sure
Juan
yet.
Washington Cruz.
Yes.
Dazan.
Yeah, we don't know. Okay. So I think you don't want me pronouncing your name. Trust me, it's not going to come out right. It never does. Anyway, so
it took her a long time for her to learn how to say Beth.
Because I was saying Beheath. I didn't know.
It was great.
Beheath.
She was getting Beth and Bequeath.
It was a twofer.
Yeah.
She watched that season of Survivor.
She was like, I want to Beth a fire token to Tyler.
No, it's Bequeath. And she's like, I want to Bequeath.
And then she's like, follow Bequeath Dixon on Twitter and Twitch.
Please. Well, I'm Southern, so it gets. Listen, we just need a camera on my face during the opening of Survivor when everything starts happening, because I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting there and he's yes, exactly. It's like, okay, so remove your buffs. It's not a merge, but this group, you draw rocks. These people get buff. Whoever wins the check, you get a buff, but you don't get a buff. And then you send someone to an island for 2 days, and then that person gets to change the whole trajectory of the game. Like this could have been a 2-hour episode. Like this would have been an okay night to have a 2-hour episode.
What the hell is happening on Tough as Nails that they needed to have an episode of that tonight?
Rob, listen, CBS
Rob Marinero's got to do something before Celebrity Big Brother.
That's right. He is on Tough as Nails, but I actually hear pretty good things about Tough as Nails. The TV
I
show.
do too. But I'm wondering why not a 2-hour episode tonight? It tells me that they couldn't do something with Tough as Nails.
Yeah. I gotta say the Survivor Australia comparisons just keep on coming this season, because they are known over there for their like non-elimination episodes, like cliffhangers in the middle of what's going on, and that's what we saw tonight. I wish Jeff said it was a 2-parter. I just wish that we got the second part tonight as well.
Well, I'm hoping for my drafts purposes that I'm assuming Erica's got to smash that glass, right? So I'm assuming that if I'm allowed to choose another person for next week, then I'm good, because they were safe now and they wouldn't be safe next time. So
there you go.
Stuff.
I literally have been told and reminded 3 times during this episode, no one is getting voted out tonight. And I'm looking at the clock with 8 minutes left in the show, and I'm like, are they on a tribal? Oh, no, they're not. I'm just like, I can't.
I love that.
So we have some things to get into tonight here. I feel like we're gonna go plenty off the rails, because we don't really have we just have a lot of setup, right? Like we don't have
in the bathroom, Tyler.
Yeah, exactly.
We started off the rails.
We started on
can
the
only
shitter.
Get on the rails at this point.
We started on the turlet.
On the turlet.
On the turlet. But so I guess we can start with the big question of the night. Which is not, was it a number 1 or number 2?
I said turlet at the same exact time, the same exact way. It was like
it's a new way to say toilet, right? Turlet.
Yeah, you and I both went
turlet. That's a hashtag for tonight's show. Turlet. Okay,
turlet.
Everyone shush before we get muted, and let's let Tyler have the floor. He's bursting at the seams.
No, I just want to know from you guys, first of all, let's talk about the whole Erica decision of it all. Because basically Jeff went to the beach and he sat down next to her with his really flashy new white shoes, which I'm like, why do you have these white shoes on the island?
He also the brightest khakis I've ever seen. I was like, that's the first time he's ever wear those.
Someone he just came from the Fijian laundromat where Fijian? He just got his
Fijian. Sounds like Fijian. That's what I call my vagina sometimes. That's why I was kind of shocked to hear
going down to Fiji. That's what it means.
That's my husband was in Fiji.
No, this is not a birth control box. This is not a birth control box.
I thought that was a birth control box.
I didn't know what you were doing. Are you letting us know something, Beth?
No, this is my new Invisalign box. So I just I was just trying to make it look like a turlet was talking. That's what I was trying to do.
Okay.
Nobody else
Everyone
was in my head.
Center.
So Jeff goes and sits down next to Erica, and he's like, listen, I have to talk to you one-on-one because you're not giving this show anything. You are boring, and so I'm going to lead you through an emotional moment just to literally spoon feed you some airtime here. And so he gives her this hourglass, right? And he says, listen, you can turn back time, and if that's the case, then the 6 people that were safe are now up for elimination for this first merge tribal. So you can, and he said you can rewrite history. He really hyped it up, and I feel like Erica realistically probably doesn't have a choice here, right? I feel like production is going to tell her listen, you got to.
You're on the bottom. You got to smash it. I mean, that's exactly the thing. I'm sorry, it's an individual game at this point. She's going to make friends with people who just had no say in whether or not she was going to go to the island or not by herself. Mm-hmm. And then she can equally screw over all the people who have been willing to throw a challenge to throw her out of the game. Mm-hmm. There is no, this is the Hail Mary of Hail Marys. But instead of like actually having to throw the ball, she just has to catch it from like here. So if a Hail Mary pass was literally like, here you go, I'm just going to pass you this. Like, I mean, this is literally the best thing that she could possibly do. She would be the dumbest survivor castaway in history if she doesn't break the glass.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted her so bad to say, would I also get the feast that I missed out on?
Yeah,
because that's food oriented.
Because I'm fucking hungry, Jeff.
I would have been like, do you have like a Nature Valley bar in your bag?
Your bright white khakis?
What's going on here, buddy? Do you have like, did you bring me a nice like little slap of beef in there by any chance?
Oh, I'm sure he's had some beef in there.
Oh. What if he was just in like an Uber Eats like uniform or something?
Oh my God. He
DoorDash.
Or like BB Can, like he's like a Wendy's employee, like he comes to the church.
Oh my God, I would die.
Oh my God, could you imagine? I mean, those people don't need to shit any more than they already do.
Right. God bless.
I would have sat there and been like, okay. Also, I want to take a step back. I need to. Since when does Fiji in a Survivor Feast merge situation have brie? Of all the cheeses, I saw a big old thing of melted brie, and I was like, "Ooh, baby, I would only eat the brie with like an apple." I'd be like, "Oh yeah."
You know, Beth, I was, as I'm always thrown off during all the feast for the last 21 years, the dirty fingers and nastiness hands going and pulling the chicken, pulling it off. And I'm like, I wanted that, but now I don't.
You clearly have never sat on a subway while a family of 5 eats their food on the way.
No, I haven't. I would
can't imagine a less appetizing place to eat food than the New York City subway. All I can think about is how many germs are around me at all given times.
Didn't you recently drive through the South?
I was not in the South, actually. I was close to the South. I was in St. Louis. Applebee's. Yeah. Have you ever been to the New York City subway? I watched a person fully shit on the subway before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you know what most people did? Just moved down to the other end of the car or just got out of the car and went to another one.
Yeah. I mean, it's just another day here. See what you're missing, Allison?
I don't think I'm missing anything.
Which, you should come visit us.
Yeah, that sounds appetizing. I want to eat on the subway and watch someone shit while I'm eating.
We don't eat on the subway. That's the whole point, Allison.
Oh.
Okay. I think I'm going to just like show these coasters every week until I finally give them to Beth. Tonight I'm using Mr. Sheffield and Fran Drescher.
Oh, those are the coasters.
Those are the coasters that we got Beth for her birthday that I still haven't given her.
Why haven't you given them? You live in the same place.
Because I'm just we are just so busy. I know. Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
I didn't know there was a Mr. Sheffield and Fran Fine coaster.
I was expecting Etsy to or Shutterfly, wherever. I was expecting them to email me and be like, "Listen, this is a copyrighted image. You cannot print this on."
They don't give a shit,
but they don't care. Yeah, right, exactly.
We do need to watch what we show on this show because I'm getting dinged from shit from 6 years ago. I'm not even joking. Seriously.
What got
just
dinged?
Music, a picture I showed, or anything like that. They are like retro going back and looking at stuff. Yeah, I'm like, y'all really have nothing else to do if you are digging in the My Weekly Meltdown Allison vault from 2015. We've all seen them eyebrows. Why don't you ding me for that?
Speaking of eyebrows, I have not done anything to mine in so long.
You look
but
gorgeous.
You can't see it, which is great. I mean, but you can kind of barely make out. There's a lot to be trimmed. And by trimmed, I mean yanked right out of there.
You look fine. We should probably...
I'm looking at my permanent scar now that I've received at a wedding.
But that's very Jason Momoa.
It's hot. Scars are
I know.
Hot. It's hot.
I do look just like him. Like everybody.
You
tells
do.
Me that all the time.
I was going to say I watched a Dune this week, and you were the first person I thought of.
Yeah. See, everybody always tells me that. You know, I was on the subway today, and they were like, "Oh my God, Jason Momoa," and I was like, "No, I get that all the time, but it's just me."
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So yeah, Survivor. We're just going off topic tonight because like there really wasn't like we just have to wait and see until a lot of this stuff plays out is like really what we're dealing with here. But I do want to talk about the beginning of the episode. So we start with Ricard and Shan going back to the beach after voting out
Shan, girl.
I know it is so bad. Allison, like we like you weren't here last week, so like Beth and I were just going back and forth, and we kind of agreed that like once Ricard and Shan are like literally telling each other, I can't trust you, you can't trust me, and just like arguing about it, like the fact that they rehashed all that again after that tribal, like these two have to turn on each other. At this
and
point.
I have to say it.
I think they will.
I have to say it. Like Ricard is not going to have any issue getting in with the guys. And Shan, now, not only does she mess up with Ricard, and I do put most of the onus on her because she's the one that like is like pushing and I understand there's a severe lack of food. Like I'm understanding that people aren't necessarily thinking like super, super well, but my God, woman, do not do what you're doing right now and like kind of continue to push them. Are you going to give it back though? Are you going to give it back though? Are you going to like, if I were Ricard, I'd be like, no, because the reason you keep asking me, and every time you ask me, I lose a lot more trust in you. So no, I'm not going to give it back to you.
I would have pulled it out.
Consider this working relationship done. See you in the next round. Like, I mean, honestly, like, what is she thinking?
She's not, because she freaking told Tiffany about the advantage that Liana has, right?
Mm-hmm.
And didn't even give Liana, I'm sorry, a heads up first. You know, and to back
so bad.
If I were Ricard, I would have pulled out that event and ripped it up and said, "Here, you can have it."
No, because then
glue it back together.
But here's my whole point, right? Is like I truly think that like that was bad enough. And then to your exact point, like let me go to my person who I think is the number one ally I'm going to have and just openly talk about stuff in front of you. Don't know what her relationship with Tiffany is like just because they came from the same tribe. What are you thinking?
Yep.
It was so bad.
I'm going to say it, like, Shan is just way too, like, she sees, like, an advantage. She sees, like, an idol, an extra vote, and her eyes just get, like, a little too glossy. Like, they get, like, she's, like, everybody's hungry for food, right? Shan is hungry for all of this power. And it is really, really getting to her head.
Which is, like, have you never seen, like, any fable or anything of the person who gets too much power and then is their own undoing, like any Greek mythology about hubris? Like, I mean, seriously, like everything tells you that there should be a balance of power and that, like, look at the vast majority of winners, not the Ben Bombs of the world. The people who legitimately had to have some kind of survival instinct in terms of all areas of their gameplay in order to get there. You don't just win because of an advantage play.
Hey, I want to say hi to somebody real quick. This is Heather, Zoe's mother. We're gonna be grandmothers in 2 weeks.
Yay, y'all, it's so a countdown.
The due date's in 2 weeks from today, I believe.
Crazy.
And we had a scare Sunday night, but we're okay. Don't get me started. Okay.
So she's just like really messing up these like very basic Survivor one-on-one things.
So bad.
And it is, I can't explain it like more than just like she's just simply power hungry and she needs to relax. Like she's messed up her relationship with Ricard. She had this like really good in with Liana. I'm glad that she was able to kind of help create the like is this racist for me to say, but it's kind of like the Cookout 2.0. Looks like it's starting to come to fruition. I don't think that's
racist to say that people. No, I think it's the same pretenses and it's the same kind of, you know, racial group and such. What's interesting to me though, and I do want to just I want to take a moment about this actually. I don't think we should call them the Cookout. That would be racist.
Right.
But to say that, I think it's really interesting that we have this whole confessional about how Erica has always been the one who looks different from everybody else and has always been pushed aside and has always had to make things work for herself. And yet the cast members who have felt that way themselves are the ones who have done that to her in this game.
Yeah.
In addition to Sydney. Myself. I mean, Sydney is, as a white woman, has been the biggest perpetuator. And I love that we do have another wonderful like group of like Black people coming together to play a game. And I do want them to be able to be successful and to run the game just like, you know, like maybe like the Cookout did as well. But I can't help but think like, yes, if you're going to talk about people of color's experiences, like sometimes you've got to look outside of your own identity. I say that as a white person. I'm, you know, I can't put myself in the shoes of someone who has of a marginalized identity, having to think outside of their own marginalized identity to another person in the same kind of faction. But it's just something that I think is interesting to bring up.
There is something I apologize. I didn't watch last week's episode.
That's good.
With you guys. I normally do, and I just didn't, and I apologize. I was having a moment. But listen, on a serious note, and I can't remember, her name escapes me, but there was a former player of Survivor, she's Asian, I believe, that was attacked last week.
Michelle Yee?
Michelle Yee, she was attacked for being Asian. Am I correct? And I just want to say that I have been under a rock, apparently. I've been wrapped up in this Gabby Petito, Brian Landry thing, okay? But I didn't realize this till like yesterday, and I just wanted to send thoughts and prayers to her and her family, and oh my God, it just has to stop. It just has to stop. And I don't know, watching this episode tonight and seeing Erica, she's Filipino. She's not Asian. I don't know.
She is Asian.
That is Asian. Okay. That just made me, it just kind of bothered me a little bit. And I knew that's not why they were doing that, but it triggered that thought in my mind about what happened to her. And I'm not
saying this to put, you know, another group of people like on fire or anything. I'm just trying to draw a comparison that sometimes, you know, we don't understand the impact that we're giving to other people is similar to the things that we're struggling with ourselves. Sometimes it's like the bullied getting like the bullied people bully other people kind of thing. Like, I'm not saying this is bullying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to give an example. But
Green Tea has interesting. I'm a Black lesbian. I'm tired of the politics of these game shows. Do the 5. Hey.
Well, so here's where I kind of want to shift it to the game, because I have a lot more confidence in the Cookout's ability to be successful than this group right here. So it's 4 instead of 6. Yep. So I feel like everybody. So the group of 4 is Shan, Liana, Deshawn, and Danny, and I just see like so many like little kinks in this like group forming already. Like, so like Shan is like Looney Tunes with power, right? Liana like has this I don't want to call it a dead weight, but like
she's on the bottom of the Yellow Tribe to a certain extent.
Yeah, exactly. So, and she has Tiffany like dragging her feet like in the sand a little bit, and plus like Danny is really I feel like he is not cool with working with lots of other women. That's kind of like the vibe that I got.
I get more of the vibe that it's not that they don't want to work with women. I think that Danny and Deshawn are so hell-bent on making sure that the men equal out their numbers that they want to vote out women. So I think that there's going to be a lot of things that like they butt their heads on. I think Ricard is going to be the person who benefits the most from if there's any cracks in that alliance. He's going to be able to, he's a savvy enough player and knows Shan well enough to be able to really do some damage there, I think.
So is that ultimately going to be Shan's undoing? Is like she puts all of her eggs into this basket, right? It totally goes south pretty quickly, and then she goes like running back to Ricard, and he's going to say, "Listen, I gave you so many chances, like way more than anybody else ever should in this game, given like the amount of conversations and like straight up fights that we've had about do we trust each other? Why should I? You know what I mean? So I don't see it. I don't see this really being a thing. And when Deshawn says like let's do it and keep it really low is what he said. You know, that's what like Tiffany said at the beginning of the Cookout. And in Tiffany's case, I feel like it was because like that was like the good, like the best intentions of the Cookout to succeed, and it was from like a good place. But when Danny says it, I feel like there is an air of like, let's keep it on the hush hush because like I don't know if I trust this all the way.
Yeah, I think that's legitimate. This is a very different game. True. It's not like Big Brother where like you get to know everybody day one. They don't know each other. They're coming from 3 different tribes. The 2 guys are together, but the 2 guys have a very different goal than the 2 women do. So it's very much made of 2 gendered pairs within that group.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at this comment. Natalie Anderson should have won Winners Award. I don't know about that, but yeah. So sorry, Allison, I interrupted you. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I don't know. Probably nothing of significance per usual.
No,
I mean, I don't know about that. You started this show in such a provocative way with
professional.
Look, I'm just trying to lighten the mood. Okay, I want. I'm enjoying Survivor. I know I poo-poo on it sometimes, just because I am more of a strategist when it comes. You know what I'm saying? That's a big word for me. It's taller than me.
A strategy purist.
All I can think about is Will Ferrell playing George Bush and going strategery.
Listen, it's strategery when I am doing my analysis of the Survivor, because I'm a big brother. Okay, I love Survivor, but I'm not the big brother. I am Big Brother. Don't listen to me.
I am the captain now.
I am the cat. What?
Have you guys seen Captain Phillips? That's just a random quote.
You're either first or you're last, Ricky Bobby. Okay.
I get what you're saying, Allison, and I think like the one person who's like really like pushing this narrative for this season is not any of the players. It's Jeff Probst, right?
Oh God,
like,
this guy.
I feel like he's like really trying to push these like when they were like pulling Heather up like from the wall. He was like, this might be one of the biggest like comebacks in all time in the history of Survivor, and I'm like,
this is one of the greatest displays of teamwork we've ever seen on the show. I was like, you've had this portion on your show many times in challenges.
We're cycling games.
Besides,
you weren't this excited the first time, Jeff. Can I have the number of your dealer? Because I've got to know what you want.
And he's like, come on, Heather, pull. And I'm like, this is like way too much.
I want to stop and be like, Jeff, you want to come do this shit? Because all you do is commentate.
I can yell and say things.
I can yell and tell people to, you're dragging, man.
You better dig deep.
You better dig deep. You are costing your team. Oh, y'all don't even know. I missed my
Pick it up, yellow team.
Pick it up. What are you doing? What are you doing?
It's always to Heather. This like poor woman. She
Heather,
never gets any confessionals. She
you
never
are 80 years old. You can dig, woman.
I totally missed my calling. My dad always used to mess with me because I'm missing the World Series game 2 right now. Okay. And my dad, the way I yell at the TV and do all of this stuff, my dad has always said to me, you should have been a hockey fan with the way you scream and yell. I miss my calling as a sports commentator. I was bitching and full of tomfoolery last night during game 1. But anyway, my shit talking was at an all-time high. Y'all have never seen me. Dig, woman, dig.
Wait, exactly. My favorite thing is Matt Henning said in the I would just
Didn't he say that tonight, Jeff?
No, that's a Sandra quote. But I just would have loved this idea that like, someone like Heather quote Sandra out of the blue, someone who's like so not what you would think was Sandra, and just been going, I can get loud too, what the fuck? Jeff in the middle of the
No, she says that, she turns around to Jeff and she's like, you need to go in the ocean and wash your ass. And he's like, what? These are just dry cleaned. I'm giving him like a Ty Pennington voice. I don't know.
Just give him a metrosexual. Remember that term, metrosexual?
Yes.
From the 2000s, like a haircut.
But like that's the direction that Jeff Probst is going in all honesty, is like Ty Pennington from Extreme Makeover.
Extreme Makeover.
Like
Survivor Middle-Aged Woman edition. Like that's
move that bus, woman. Like that is like on the next episode.
Have you ever desperate for Cirie too? Like that's all he wants.
Sorry, I have a Jeff Probst fun fact. God bless, I'm like the Jeff Probst historian here. You know, before Survivor, he hosted Rock and Roll Jeopardy on VH1. And he was an asshole on that show. Wow, that was not the right answer. That was way off. No, that's not even the right genre. I mean, he was a dick. Go look it up on YouTube.
You know who also was a low-key shady dick, though? Alex Trebek. And that's why I loved him. Can you imagine the amount of times he'd be like, nope, I'm sorry. The answer we were looking for was this. Just a little off there.
So speaking of Alex Trebek, I was in the audience for Wheel of Fortune when I was like 14.
Oh, Pat Sajak is the biggest asshole there is.
They're all dicks.
Yeah, Pat Sajak hates his life so much. If you watch a modern episode of The Price is Right, he'll sit there and be like, all right, Vanna, show me what they're going to do. All right, great. Wonderful.
She turns letters. What's the... Oh, God. YouTube this. Pat Sajak losing it about Vanna White. He was on a radio show years ago, and this guy does an impression of Pat Sajak in front of Pat Sajak, all about Vanna White and how talentless she is, and she turns effing letters. It is the funniest thing you have ever heard in your life. And speaking of Alex Trebek, Will Ferrell doing on Saturday Night Live, Alex
Celebrity Jeopardy.
With, God rest his soul, Norm Macdonald doing Burt Reynolds and Sean Connery, the guy that did Sean Connery.
That's not what your mother said last night.
That's not what your mother said last night.
That's Daryl Hammond.
Yeah, I'll love it. Anyway, so Survivor.
But no, seriously, I have a theory that Pat Sajak and Vanna White murdered together, and that this is how they have to like.
Who are they? This is their own personal hell.
This is their personal in a former life that they were reincarnated as Pat Sajak and Vanna. Was he Hitler? Who was he?
I ask you all if you ever catch another episode of The Price is Right, to please pay attention to how many dry, sarcastic remarks, especially when he's introducing the guests. Like after that first round, he'll be like, all right, Tyler, where are you coming from today? And Tyler will start saying, that's great. All right, move it. Just right out like, all right, we're going to move it along.
How many kids do you have? That many? Wow, that's a lot.
Wow, I mean, he'll say, cool.
So who's here with you to support you in the audience, Beth?
Yeah. My mom.
Okay, well, this is great. Let's spin this wheel. And honey, I watch Wheel of Fortune every night.
He hates his life. It's so funny to me.
He is done. He watches a wheel spin. He's been doing it since 1983. That's it.
The dollar amount on that either. Like, most other shows are like, you put another zero onto all of those dollar amounts, right? And they're like, all right, $100.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
But he loves to take away. When you hit bankruptcy, there's an evil gleam in his eye, especially when you've got like $20,000 up. Yeah, you're down to zero. Give me that bankrupt. You go, woo. Oh, God, he loves it. And Vanna White is obsolete. Can we just address that elephant in the room? She just touches the letters. She doesn't even need to be there. Like, you could hit a button. They could do it from backstage. She literally, does not need to be there. Done.
Have you seen when she filled in for Pat Sajak last year?
Oh, yes.
She was awful.
She's just keep tapping the letters, Vanna. We're good.
You might just walk back over there, get it done. Anyway, let's get back to Survivor. One of the things that I think is really interesting in the chat is that everyone's like, Heather hasn't had too many confessionals. Like, she has no edit. And
everybody's talking about Survivor except for us.
I'm like, you know what, though? Here's the thing. Heather is getting an edit, but it's a Jeff Probst edit, which means
that's what I'm saying. Like, all of her edgic content is coming from Jeff Probst instead of
telling her to dig, woman, dig.
It's so bizarre. I think Adrian said that she only has Pokemon said she only has 2 confessionals this whole season, which is just crazy. So I feel bad for her. Yeah. I hope she gets her time soon.
This tells me that she's gonna be here for a while, though. Because don't you think that she makes it to a final 6 situation?
So usually the super quiet edited ones are the person that goes out on like the first round of like a double boot episode.
You know, Shan looks really clean in her confessionals. I just want to point that out in her little overalls and shirt. Like there's not a speck of sand.
Well, she's never wearing them outside of the confessionals, so maybe they told them to only wear certain things in their confessionals.
She's gone, and they're all in the set. Like like she doesn't change scenery now. She's always in the overalls under the tree, and I'm like, if she's gone, could you not make it any more obvious? I don't know. If y'all see me in a confessional and my hair's did and I got eyeliner on and I'm looking drip, then y'all know that if I'm drippy, then y'all know that I've been voted out.
I don't think I need to hear
if I'm dripping.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't need to hear Allison say I'm dripping.
Especially after you started the show on the toilet.
I was dripping. I flushed.
Also, thank you so much, Pokemon. I appreciate that.
Okay, restart. We're gonna I have an hourglass here. We're gonna turn back.
He's gonna smash it with his head. He's gonna smash it on his head if we don't stop. Okay, I'm on mute.
Okay,
I want you to realize that there is a difference between saying I have like the drip.
Well, there's ointment for it, but we don't need to get into that.
Antibiotics for that shit.
There's antibiotics. I'm gonna mute myself so we can have some Survivor talk because.
Okay, so let's talk about Liana's advantage, right? Because now, like, Tiffany knows, Shan as well. So Shan kind of suggested to Liana to use it on Xander, which is what you and I said last week that she should do, Beth. But I'm very worried about Liana now that like the cat's coming out of the bag, that like she has this advantage and she can just like yank an idol from anybody at Tribal. Mm-hmm. That's very powerful stuff. So if I'm Liana and I see like everybody like starting to find out about this, like I have to start thinking like it's only a matter of time before everybody knows and it paints like a huge target on my back. Yeah. So I think she needs to just like flush the it always comes back to the toilet, but so she needs to flush that advantage ASAP,
so I had a thought that is kind of would require a lot of incredible social gameplay, but I think that Liana has that ability, which is I think if she could figure out now that the other half, the winning half, came back and they're starting to learn, Shan has warned her about Ricard. But Shan has also inadvertently screwed up Liana's advantage and all those different kinds of things too, right? Yeah. So if I'm Liana, even though I bonded really well with her on an island for like an hour, I would really be assessing, is everything that Shan says 100%? Yeah. And the other person that totally valid. Is a good person to talk strategy with is Ricard. So if I were her, I would talk to him and try to get some tea. And when he says if he mentions anything about their back and forth about the advantage, that should be a red flag to Liana about how Shan is with advantages and stuff. And if I were her, I would secretly give that advantage to Ricard so that the two of them could get Shan out and use it to get like lift her idol from her or lift her, steal a vote or something like that.
I really wish that we heard from Ricard, like once they got to the actual merge, like what he was thinking. Because
a merge, though. What is it?
The half merge.
What is it?
It's a merge.
I mean,
but
like
Jeff
we
didn't
saw.
Say it was a merge, right?
Well, they're all together on the beach now, right? Well, we saw like Nasir and Xander like connect like right away, right, like everybody's like still hugging in the background, and they're like, "Yeah, so you got an idol. All right, we gotta look out for each other. I'm on the bottom of the yellow tribe. We gotta like." They're just like talking like a mile a minute.
Also, Xander was the only guy who was going to be up for elimination, so it made sense for him to connect with the other person that he knows has an idol, and so that if he doesn't obviously know all of the people who are going to, and he was also another guy, so like there's that. But
you know who Xander reminds me of? I watched Dune this weekend on HBO Max. Timothée Chalamet. That's who he reminds me of with the hair. Okay, sorry.
And the face.
Yes.
Too. He has a very similar nose. And they also have a very similar like voice.
They do.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Is this just Timothée Chalamet in some kind of prosthetics playing Survivor?
Is he method acting for another movie? For Dune 2?
Yeah,
Part
exactly.
2? In the sand?
Featuring Jeff Probst.
Jeff Probst.
You better dig.
You better dig. He's a sandworm. Okay. Because he's definitely worm.
Dune 2. Dig deeper.
Dig deep. Dig deeper. Dune 2. Dripping in sand.
Oh, no.
Just drip.
Just drip.
I don't even know what to say anymore. I was just gonna say, like, I really wish, like, we got this moment from Naseer and Xander connecting right away. I just wish that we checked in with Ricard to see, like, is this like the opportunity to turn on Shan right away, or like if not, like where does he go to? I feel like he's gonna be a very pivotal piece of the puzzle in terms of like who is the first boot here at the merge. So I don't know. We'll see.
I just have a feeling that a lot of these quote unquote bigger players are gonna go. Like, I don't see them going to the end. Like
give me names. Give me names. Like Evie, I think is in trouble.
I think Evie. I think Ricard. I think Shan. Like, these are people who I feel like they're all going to be like the Spider-Man meme of huh, and then like just like take each other out, and then like the Heathers and I mean Tiffany's getting a good edit now, and that makes me feel like she's going to go farther. Like. The Tiffany's, I think Naseer is going to be able to fade in the background. I feel like these kind of people who were maybe like considered to go in like the first tribal councils for their tribes are going to be able to kind of go, okay, they're all throwing grenades at each other. Let's just stay in the background. I feel like we're going to have a very passive finalist. Like that's the vibe I'm getting from this season.
If that's the case, then we're gonna have a really angry jury because like the big players are
those are the best kind
and bitter as hell.
I want more videos at Ponderosa. That's what I want.
I want the jury to be dripping with hatred.
Drip
it.
Yeah, so I don't know, we'll see, but let's update our draft because it's the same as last week.
So instead of update, it's just like let's just pull out the picture.
Well, we can get Allison's perspective in terms of like who has the best.
Oh yeah,
team.
That's a good call.
So Allison,
really?
This is our draft. So who do you think it could be? If you really believe in one player, it could be one person team. But who do you think has the best team?
Man, Xander really does look like Timothée Chalamet.
Yes, he does.
Listen, his head's gonna get even bigger, but Matt Henning has got Ricard and Erica. I believe it's gonna
his
smash.
Team holds a lot of power.
Yeah, there's a lot of power because, like Beth said, he's gonna lay low while people are throwing grenades at each other. And Erica's and Erica's got that power. So that, and listen, here's the thing with Tiffany. She is totally that teacher right now that stands in the hallway and is in everyone's business and is telling all the other teachers about all the fucked up kids and their problems. She is spilling the tea. She's dripping. So, I mean, it's everywhere. But, and that's going to, I don't think she's going to, and I love Tiffany. I love it, but she's going to be out of here soon. Unfortunately, I think Shanna's going to be out of here soon just because on account of how clean she looks in her confessionals because everybody else is still dirty. And Sydney, I don't even know what that's about. I don't know what's going on. She did a weird thing when they all had to discuss who was going to the island.
In confessional, when she was talking about how like she doesn't trust Erica,
yeah,
she had a huge gash in the middle of her nose. And then her like walking on the beach and she doesn't have it. So I like maybe that's
isn't there a medevac? No, it's kind of, I don't know if this is spoilery, but I thought I heard there was a medevac. I thought there was going to be a medevac last week. Somebody was dripping all over Twitter trying to spoil it. And I was waiting for it and it didn't happen. Shame on you.
You know what was dripping in this season?
What?
Or in this episode?
What?
Ricard was dripping blood all over that slide puzzle.
Oh yeah,
he was like, "I'm bleeding," and they're like, "Keep going,
yeah,
keep going. We don't care."
And Jeff's like,
dig deep.
You better get splinters all the way up your hand. Dig deep.
Bleed, woman.
Pain is temporary.
Drip is forever.
Oh no.
You can blame my son. No, my daughter-in-law for teaching me drip.
What if he finished it? He would drip is forever. Then he went
Dab.
Allison would have had a heart attack on the floor. That's all it takes, because I'm already stressed out enough watching these episodes, not knowing what's going on with all, because they've changed it up so much. I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused.
So Jeff Probst would totally do like one of the TikTok dances, but like a trend that was like 6 months ago,
like a year ago,
and he would do it as a reel on Instagram instead of on TikTok.
Oh my god! So I'm convinced. I'm convinced that the Survivor producers were watching the group of us from like the mostly RAJP community who play Among Us together and play modded Among Us like back in March. I'm convinced they were watching because this twist for Erica is the Time Wizard in Among Us modded, which is basically you just press the rewind button and then you go back like 3 seconds. And so like all I could think about is like, oh, right. I can't wait for Jeff next week to be like, next week or like this week, we have another incredible twist that's going to change the game. 2 people will be bonded together. If they both make it to final 3, they win. We're calling it The Lovers. And then just like the next one will be like, this other twist, it requires a magic vial in which you turn into another person. This will be key for socializing and conversations to glean information. People won't know you're somebody else. Like, it's so stupid.
It's a whole mess.
It's basically the halting hex from Big Brother, 18?
Yeah.
I mean, 19. That's what it is. So
halting hex.
The halting hex.
That was that Paul and
Jessica won the halting hex.
Jessica, yeah.
I hate that cast so
much.
Name one person from that cast that I should like, because I will actually. Ramses. That's about it. I don't like anybody else on that cast.
I can't remember anybody else.
Raven.
Good for you.
Matt. Paul.
How is Matt the first person you think of from that cast?
Matt isn't on that season.
Yes, he is.
I don't know.
Serial eater.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Look, listen. That was the last season I covered by myself. And let me tell you something. Prior to that, I did 3 shows a week by myself. I did Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday shows. Can you imagine? Not just me doing the shows, but having to watch me that much.
I'm so glad I wasn't covering that season.
Listen. And when that season started, girl, I just filmed it on Saturday afternoon when I felt like it and just posted it. I was like, I'm doing this once a week. I can't get into it. But yeah. Anyway, Survivor.
I wonder how many. We should try this one time where we try to name like every, like Rob did, like name like every contestant on Survivor. But I was just thinking like,
I can't.
I wonder if I could name like the whole cast of Big Brother 19.
I could. I think I could.
Okay, so it's just because we have nothing to talk about on Survivor.
Cameron was the first one out.
Jillian.
That's right. Megan. She's one
of
quit.
I forgot about Megan. Yeah.
Okay, what do we say? Who? What season are we on?
19. Big Brother 19.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to think who goes after that.
Ramses.
I'm trying to do the boot order in my head, and it's really hard.
I think Jessica's next.
Let's tell them. Hey, Jessica. Adrian. Yes, we are gonna cover the Challenge All Stars 2.
Yes.
And we're going to do the Los Angeles homecoming, and we're actually going to finish it, unlike New York, which we didn't finish.
Yeah. Well, we should do that at some point. Okay. So
Jessica, then Cody.
Alex? Or no?
Alex came later.
Was it Mark and Elena next?
Yeah, I think it was Elena, then Mark.
Yep. And then
Raven,
then Matt, Alex, Kevin.
We're missing the we forgot the dude who the cowboy guy.
Oh, Jason. God, what a
Christmas.
terrible cast. Yeah, and
Kevin.
then
It's like I blocked it.
Christmas.
Paul and Josh. That's 17. I think we named Kevin twice. I think I named. Did you say Kevin before I said the cowboy?
Yeah, I said Kevin. Oh, Dominique. Damn, I forgot about her. Wasn't she like super religious?
Yeah, she was also that whole snake situation too.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
They were so racist towards her.
I know. What a terrible season. Like, how did casting not get fired after Big Brother 15, after Big Brother 19, after Big Brother 21? It just,
and even Big Brother
mind.
18, when there was a lot of misogyny. I mean, that season was horrific with misogyny.
A lot of people praised the cast of Big Brother 18 like they actually did something.
Right? I don't even remember.
I'm like, you guys need better, like higher standards for
Big
yourself.
Brother 18. All these articles, like BuzzFeed even was like, wow, this is a really shitty season for women. Like they were interviewing Davon, Bridget, like Zakia, like all like, yeah. No,
is that that's not the first season we covered, Tyler. That was 19, right?
I think I started with Big Brother 20 with you. Because I don't, or maybe I did start in Big Brother 19.
Because it was right.
It's right around then.
It was 2018. Because that was Celebrity Big Brother, and I did that with Phelan Fairchild and Deb.
There's a movie called Big Brother 2018, of course.
Well,
yeah, it was Big Brother 20. Yeah. Yeah, that's. Do we have anything else to to talk about here?
I'm on baby watch. Grandbaby could be here literally. Stop it. Little guy.
I have food.
Little guy scared us Sunday night, and Mama and Daddy had to go to the hospital because she thought she was in labor, and it was just the Braxton. False labor, and she was a little dehydrated, so she's just stressed out. It's a lot, but baby is also breached, so if she's going to the doctor tomorrow, and if little guy is still breached, there is a procedure they can do to turn him, but it's very painful, and I think that they're going to schedule a cesarean and just do that, and that could be Friday. That could be freaking in 2 days. That could be next week.
Wow.
How are you
feeling?
Listen, I went dark Sunday. Listen, I froze. I took 2 Valium. I was so, because I couldn't do anything. That's the worst part. I think it really dawned on me for the first time that the hospital is an hour and a half away and nobody can be there with them. And I literally will be sitting here until it's over. And they came over here first. And because there was they couldn't get the car seat in, right? And Chris and I were YouTubing how to put this car seat in because we could figure it out either. So we got the car seat in, and my son was white as a ghost. He does not handle blood well. So this is just he's going to pass out. It's going to be a
lot of partners do pass out.
Yeah, and it's fine. And we told him, but he and I were like the same. We were both like stone faced, white, pale. Are you okay?
You know whose job it is? You know whose job it is? To watch the father or the partner or whatever when the partner's giving birth is it's like the resident. They're like, okay, you're new in the hospital. Your job is to tend to the father, and they're like, why? And they're like, you'll see. And then they all go like, and they're like, oh, that's why you tend to.
My son's a full-time job. Okay, full-time with overtime job.
We're all excited for you, Allison. So keep us updated with all of that stuff.
I cleaned the hell out of my house, though. I was vacuuming everything.
New York and do the same.
I was cleaning baseboards. I tackled the ceiling fans. It was crazy. My husband was like, "You've got to stop it." He's like, "Aren't vacuums supposed to make you sleepy?" I go, "I don't know, but I think my adrenaline is pumping right now. That is having the opposite effect."
Listen, if you want to come up to New York and clean our apartments, and bring Finley because we have a mouse loose in our apartment that we need taken care of. So yeah,
it's right behind you.
Very funny. He doesn't go in the office for some reason. It's like only he doesn't go in the bedroom either. Like just the kitchen.
I like that you've already, where
gendered him.
Yeah. No, I'm just.
What did you name him?
You already gendered him.
You know what I did get? That was my son and I love the movie The Hangover, the original Hangover, and Zach Galifianakis. I love him. He's carrying the baby, and he names it Pedro.
Yeah,
I got them a baby on board sticker of baby Pedro.
Oh, perfect.
With the beanie and the sunglasses and everything. And it says baby on board.
I
know. And it was on the car. And I'm like, oh my God,
Pedro. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning into Off the Rails. I'm sorry. My Weekly Meltdown.
Yeah, basically. You're not wrong though this week.
Survivor in itself.
We'll see, but I guess let's make a prediction for like the merge boot that we'll see next week. So ultimately, how do we think this is shaking out? Who do we think is going home?
Tiffany or Shan? Tiffany or Shan?
Tiffany. I don't think it's Tiffany at all. I think that Erica's going to break it.
Yeah.
Which tells me that Tiffany and Shan would be safe, actually, if that was the case. So I think then you have to look to where the minority would be in the tribe that won, which is who's the only woman on that one? Evie. I think Evie could be the first one. Or no, Sydney was on that one. Sydney's the first boot. I think Sydney's first merge boot.
Sydney would. Oh yeah, that's right.
Sydney and Evie are the only two, like femme or women on the tribe that like won, but might get reversed.
And the guys might want to keep Sydney over Evie because Sydney's from the Blue Tribe originally. So that could play a role as well. So so we'll see. I think I think Evie could be in some trouble here. So we'll see. But like Matt said in the comments, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Give us a glowing review, 5 out of 5 stars for all this complex strategic conversation that we always have.
Hey, and listen,
gyrating in her seat.
Yeah. We're getting a lot of content. A lot of shows are getting released this winter. We've got Cobra Kai on New Year's Day, on New Year's Eve. We've got Tiger King 2 on November 17th. You just came out, season 3.
Yeah.
Allison watched it in one day. Wow.
I would also put out there, since we covered it before, not that we're going to cover it again, but just as a warning, Dragula season 4 is out and the girls are fighting. The girls are fighting. Oh my God, it is dramatic. But I'm covering that tomorrow for RHAP with Amon Adwin and then special guest. I'll just announce it here. This will be the first time anybody hears it. Special guest Jeremy Carey, formerly known as Fifi O'Hara, who was on seasons 4 and All Stars 2 of Drag Race, but has also been but has also been a guest judge.
As somebody who like doesn't know much about the drag universe at all, Fifi O'Hara is a name that I know.
See, so but here's the thing: Jeremy does not go by that name anymore. It's almost like a dead name.
Okay.
So, like, but that is exactly the point. Is like his drag persona was well known. Like, if you want to talk about edited villains on a drag season, like or on Drag Race, like that is one of them. But Jeremy's like one of the sweetest, love him to death kind of people. And so I'm so excited to talk about Dragula with him. Oh!
That's gonna be awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to talk about the Challenge All-Star Season 2 with Allison, and I think Andrew's joining us for that.
I think Andrew's and then we have Homecoming Los Angeles.
Yes, which we get a whole season of Beth. Not this wonderful Beth, but the troublemaker Beth, who is one of my favorite reality TV contestants of all time.
And David is back. David is the first person that I can remember, the first person to ever be removed from a reality show.
Mm.
Los Angeles, Real World. He was the
first person.
Do? They were goofing around and it went too far. And I think Tiffany was naked in bed in a blanket, and they were all playing around, and she was wrapped up in the blanket, and he was dragging. He was dragging her across the floor, and she was laughing, telling him to stop. And then she was like, seriously, stop. And listen, that whole thing, I could see both sides, but Beth really fueled it when she basically compared him to a rapist, which I thought was a little much, but I don't know. That was 1993.
The
blanket incident. But the fact that they brought him back, not everyone's coming back. Dominic's not coming back. Not everybody's going to be back. It's hard to tell when people are joking, when they're laughing. But then again, me, when I'm angry, sometimes I laugh, when I'm hysterical.
I can't say I do the same, but I'll keep that in mind for if you're ever laughing at.
Have you ever seen The Real World Los Angeles?
I've never seen The Real World Los Angeles.
When you gonna start watching it?
The first season I saw was Austin, which is like way down the line, and so I went back and watched Las Vegas. That's like the earliest season of The Real World that I've watched.
Okay, well, you've got 20 years of shows to watch.
I know, right?
Anyway, right. Dominic and Aaron aren't coming back, which I'm not happy about, but whatever.
All right, well, everybody have a great rest of your week. Take care, and we'll see you next week for the merge outcome. All right, bye, guys.